and welcome back to another episode of Creating Powerful Impact. Again, I'm your host, Shay, founder and CEO of Grace and Ease Productions, where we support entrepreneurs just like you with event-based marketing and sales strategies, allowing you to build your authority, your credibility, and your visibility in your industry. Very excited to introduce you to today's guest. Sofia Sundari is an author, transformational facilitator, spiritual mentor, and CEO of her seven-figure brand. She runs online programs and in-person immersions with a focus on empowering living, erotic embodiment, and spiritual refinement. Now, she also guides her clients on working on cultivating really just a profound connection to the body and the soul, to really understand the masculine and the feminine energetics, spiritual intimacy, and sacred sexuality. However, in essence, all her work is about coming home to your higher self. So please help me welcome Sofia to the Creating Powerful Impact stage. Hey, Sofia.
Hello. Thank you for a beautiful intro.
Absolutely. I'm really excited because there's so many things that we can dive into today. There's like self-leadership, embodied wealth, prosperity, how you created your seven-figure brand, masculine, feminine approaches, how you schedule yourself as a CEO, like just all the things. But before we kind of dive into some of those details, I would love for you to just share a little bit more, about you and how you are creating impact in the world today.
Well, as you read beautifully in my bio, or as you spoke, it's like the work is all about coming back home to yourself, and I really believe that that's what we need more than anything, because that's where we find all the answers. That's where we find all the healing. That's where we find all the empowerment. Because I believe that the greatest disease of our time and the real problem of our time is forgetfulness. Like we forget who we truly are. We forget where we're coming from. We forget our divine nature. We forget the source of existence. And that's what creates distortion. That's what creates problems in relationships. That's what creates disconnection from ourselves. And that's what disconnects us from the limitlessness and the limitless abundance that's actually available to us. So that's what I'm guiding my clients in the essence, but then we are using lots of tools, and they are like level of the body, the level of the energy, the level of emotion, the level of the mind, and it's all serving to come back home.
I love that. Yeah, because things can get pretty crazy, as a CEO, as you're building your company. I would love for you to maybe just kind of touch on, are there some key things that have really helped you on your journey in creating a seven-figure brand?
Well, a bunch of things, obviously. But first of all, I never thought that I was going to be a CEO of a big brand. And I've never thought that I was going to be a millionaire. I never thought that that was going to be my destiny, because all I was focusing on was, I was so mind blown when I discovered my path, when I discovered Tantra, when I discovered spirituality. I was so mind blown, and I just could not help, but I wanted to express how moved I was. And then I became a teacher, and then I started facilitating women's events, and it was just love pouring out of me. Like I couldn't help it. And then suddenly I realized, actually, it does not serve anyone that I don't own that the fact that I actually have a business, because actually having a business is also a tremendous service. And when I anchored this energy of like, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Yes, I'm going to scale this business. Yes, this is for the highest benefit of all. That was a major impact. It's like, just taking responsibility that it's a business. For me, like that was an important step. And then also there was a massive transformation that happened when I started to understand what a limitation it was, that I was so not interested in money. Because for a while, like I would hire marketers, I would hire someone who would help me with my ads, because I used to run ads in my business previously. And they would ask me, okay, what's your financial goals? And I'm like, I don't have financial goals. I just want to touch as many people as possible. They're like, oh, Like, what are you doing here? And then later I understood that it's actually not a service. To be so humble, to be so above money, it was not a service at all. And all of that was actually coming from my own wounds and from my own discomfort as well. And I had to address it like big time. And when I started addressing my money wounds, next year was a 7-figure year.
Really? Yeah. So it was that wound that was within you that really kind of was the blind spot, so to speak, would you say? That allowed you to like, okay, that's my next step of next level, next XP points of diving into that then allows me to even create more impact because I've broken through that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
So when wealth is in the hands of the right people and we have the right attitude, everyone becomes richer from that in so many more ways than financial. Financial wealth is just one aspect of wealth. Yeah. And even having a lot of money is not necessarily going to make you feel wealthy, but unlocking those codes was enormous for me.
Yeah. Do you feel that it comes with more ease now that you've worked through those blocks?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So okay, you now have a 7-figure brand and business. Congratulations. That's amazing. You're out there supporting more and more entrepreneurs, more and more people with your mission. How in the world do you schedule what it is that you do? Like being and putting on that CEO hat, how do you schedule all the things? I talk with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners that just feel so incredibly overwhelmed that they start to be burnt out. How do you do it?
Well, to be honest, I don't even do all that much.
Tell me more. What does that mean?
Yeah, because, and I feel like that was one of the key points that actually like helped me break through some very different numbers in my business. But I realized that me being busy and doing the busy work, and that's not what's going to move the needle. That's not what's actually going to make the impact. I see my role as a CEO is in zooming out as much as I possibly can and holding as big of a vision as I possibly can and continuously expanding in that vision. So I don't even have particular goals because I'm constantly changing, because I have those visions and they're constantly expanding. And things that I was excited about half a year ago, now it's already like it's completely next level. And so that's what I see my main role is in holding that bigger perspective and then just showing up in the places where I am good. And if I'm where I'm good, I'm an excellent mentor, I'm an excellent speaker, I am an excellent content creator, and everything else. Like, I mean, I'm also, I have many hats in my business still, but still, like I have to be at my best to show up in these roles. And that's what my focus is on, like to really put myself in circumstances and situations. Like now I'm in Costa Rica in this jungle, and that was my choice to connect to myself, to my essence. And from here, my work becomes stronger because I am in the right place. I'm in the right place within myself. So that's basically kind of my main scheduling. My main scheduling is around like what helps my energy be at its best.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, there's a lot of buzzwords out there, the feminine, the masculine, what would you say is kind of like your approach to life and business when it comes to masculine energy, feminine energy, how you run the business, how you support your team, how you grow your team? What would be your approach to business?
Well, masculine and feminine are in fact buzzwords, but they are originally coming from very sacred traditions. And Tantra is one of those traditions that has a very specific view on the masculine and feminine, which I feel like gets quite diluted in the modern world. And what I find is that for women, it's very important to be a woman. And a lot of women are very kind of like forgetting what it means to be a woman. And then they try to find this balance, like, okay, I'm so much in my masculine, I burn out. But then they look for balance, like, okay, let me do some feminine practices and I will be in balance. And I find that it's like completely like big misunderstanding of what we are actually meant to be doing. We're meant to be woman, like 100% woman. And to be 100% woman is such a massive thing. It's so advanced because to be fully a woman, you need to have such solid structure inside of you in place.
Mm-hmm.
Like there needs to be so much courage, so much determination, so much clarity to hold this feminine heart. When our hearts don't feel held because we don't have the right structures in place, because we don't really support the expression of those hearts, then we just die out, like we die off. Like there's no enthusiasm anymore, there's no radiance anymore that is feeding the world. And so that's what I find, like we have to come back to what, like to our truest natural place. And from there, business blossoms because we are at our true, like in our true element. And then from there, things just unfold. So that's, you know, that's for me the biggest vision of my business and of the businesses that I help create my clients.
So is it like a series of uncovering certain levels? Like if someone who's listening right now is a woman and they're like, I'm so in the masculine, I don't even know how to get out of it or how to incorporate any of the feminine or what it looks like to be held. What in the world are you talking about, Sophia? What does the being held look and feel like? Like for that woman that's listening right now, what would you say? Like, is there kind of a path? Is there things that you need to start uncovering? Is like, what are kind of some of the first steps to even start on that journey?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question, really. A first step is just to stop everything for like a little phase, like as long as it takes like a day, a week, 2 weeks, just to stop everything and do things that bring you life. Because we forget to live. Like that's dramatic. And we forget to live. We forget to do things that actually bring us joy. We put everyone else's needs first, even the needs of our minds, like where we think we have to be, or where what we think we have to do. We put all of that first before our well-being, before our happiness, before our joy. So that's what I recommend to all women. Just like switch off for a phase and do something. Remember when you were the happiest, remember when you were running wild and free. Remember when you were really like in your zone. And it will be very scary because you might say, well, I have bills to pay. Well, I have children to feed. Well, I have things to do. What are you talking about? Run wild and free. But I guarantee you, if you make this radical choice to put yourself first for at least a little while, things will start being put into place. I noticed like in my life, because I also had burnouts and overwork, and I always saw that behind that overwork, there was me trying to prove something to somebody. And it was me trying to prove something to my parents, actually. You know, like thinking that it's like I'm proving to the world, or I need to become better, or but actually it was all just me, my childhood wounds speaking through me. But then when I stopped everything, and I took those moments to just be in silence, be in quietness, be with myself, be in environments that are actually nurturing for me, then I would be like, remember the big picture, what it is all about after all. Because in this kind of hamster wheel, we so easily disconnect what it was all about in the first place. Yeah. Why did we go here in the first place? Why did we create those businesses in the first place? And are we actually living that?
Yeah.
And when we are not, then no wonder we struggle.
Right. Do you ever have women coming to you going, I'm just numb? Like, I don't even know what joy is.
Exactly. Because you've pushed, or this woman, she has pushed herself so far that there's nothing left to feel. She's disconnected so much, there's like no feeling left in the body. And that is the problem. When the feeling starts to come back to the body, when we return to this feminine nature, because we are meant to be full of radiance, full of life. We are the light of the world. When we return to that, then it's like there's naturally like a sense of like, well, I'm naturally good at this. This is easy for me. I'm going to go in that direction. I'm going to go and speak my heart. I'm going to go and mentor on this subject. I'm going to go and launch a program on this subject because this is what's pouring out of me. but we have to have the spaciousness in our life in order to let the pieces of the puzzle to come to be set in place. And of course, without support, this is difficult. That was also another huge piece in my business that for the longest time ever, I thought I have it all figured out. I don't need support. But why would I hire somebody? And then boom, and I opened up to that, and I invested way more than I was comfortable in working with a mentor. And that was a huge gesture for myself. And that also put so many things into perspective. And in that sense of support, then like it's not even that I got the return on investment, but it's like I got like 100 times return on investment, because just that gesture of letting myself be held by somebody, game changer.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's allowing the opportunity for somebody to support you who's a few steps ahead of you, that have been through it, can guide you through it, maybe open up some blind spots that you don't see, and support you in the next best step, right? And then you were also touching on, once you start to tap into your joy, if you give yourself that day, that half a day, that weekend, that whatever, to really focus on it, start to tap into more of the feminine energy, that grace, so to speak. Then when you go back in to the business, tell me a little bit about like when that happened for you, when you started to break through your money blocks, or the next level that you're jumping into. Does it just put new glasses on of how you look at the business and who you start to attract and who sees you on social media and all of those things?
Yeah, even, I wouldn't even say that it's like when you unplug, you go into your feminine. It's more like when you unplug, you go home. Like you go home to yourself, and you just come into the quietness, and you disconnect from the noise and just come into the quietness of you. And then from there, it's like, okay, the closest essence to my spirit is being a woman. Okay, what does this woman want? And then you start to prioritize this woman always. And not only in that like time when you unplug, but then like throughout your days, it's like, you're like, okay, I remain the woman, no matter what I have to do, no matter what someone needs from me, no matter what I promise someone, I remain the center of my life. I remain the most important player in this game. And then you start to see that you putting yourself first, you recognizing that yourself in the center of the whole tornado, sometimes you always know that you are safe in the very center of it. You always know that you got yourself in the very center of it. And then it's like you have the perspective, you have the spaciousness to see that, well, I don't need to get overwhelmed by that. I don't need to be carried away by that. What really matters? It's right in the center. And then the actions unfold from here. Then there's this aligned action. Then there is this action from the heart. Then there is this like perspective change. Then it starts to become not more like, okay, how do I make money now? But more about long-term. How do I create long-term relationships with these people? Because I know I'm here for the long game. So what nurtures my heart is to be in harmony with people around me. And then you naturally start to create content. If you are, you have like businesses based on content creation, you naturally start to create content that actually connects you with your audience, that you actually create genuine relationships. And then boom, you see like people actually trust you more. And then boom, you see people actually want to work with you. People actually want to pay you because they trust you, because they feel your heart. And you see out of that, it's like this ripple effect that just doesn't stop, because you put the heart in the center of it all.
Yeah, that's very profound. It's felt through, right? Your heart is felt through your content now. It's felt through your programs. It's felt through your social media. And would you say that's when you were really, as you continue to, but when you were starting to become a millionaire, would you say that's what you were uncovering? Is this piece like, how does your brand fit into social media and the constructs that are there, but allowing the feminine and the heart to follow through and really touch the audience, and then utilize the social media platform to support that?
Well, kind of more complex than that, because I saw for me what was really important is to integrate everything that I am. Because this business started as a calling of the heart. It was all about like coming home to the heart for me, and then for everyone who I touched. That's the essence of it. Coming home to divinity, coming home to coming home. And then I had to see that like we all want the same, but the way I lead my people into it is so personal to my own experience. Is so like, it's how I experience it. It's how I see it. And why do I see it like that? Because of the complexity that I am. So for me, it was really important to integrate all different parts of me. Yeah, and the yogi part of me, and the luxury loving part of me, and the badass part of me, and the super successful woman part of me, and the very feminine, super sensitive woman. Like all of that has to be integrated. And I see that when people feel all parts of me, this is where we have this genuine connection. And that's where they feel my purity, and that's where the trust happens, and that's where they actually want to follow my guidance. And this is when they create their results. And like this massive ripple effect is taking place from this complete integration of everything, but remembering what's in the center of it all always.
Right. And then that's the impact that you're creating out in the world, right? It's those little droplets that are just rippling out in the ocean, so to speak, of humanity.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Oh my goodness. So we could continue to talk forever. I have more questions, but for today, I want to start to kind of wrap up a little bit. I heard that you have this thing called embodied wealth. I would love for you to explain, really what is embodied wealth and how understanding that energy really helps to evolve your business.
Yeah, beautiful. So embodied wealth is the sense of, it's a state of being. It's a state of awareness. It's a state of mind where you recognize that you are wealth. Not only wealthy, but you are wealth, that you are inherently worthy. You are worthy of the greatest life, of the greatest abundance, of the greatest money, of the greatest fulfillment. And through your embodiment, you open into it. Not through just thinking your way into it, working on the beliefs as like, the stuff we know that works, on like shifting mindsets and so on, but actually by working on the level of the body, by remembering that, by letting ourselves physically remember the wealth that we are. And so I've created a process, a program that guides people into it, and the results are phenomenal. Some people manage to increase their income by 10 times just by going through those processes. And that's basically attuning us to the totality that we came here to play with as humans. And money is one of those things. So it's like there's nothing to reject, there's nothing to resist. It's all we get to do is recognize the abundance that we are, the wealth that we are, the wealth that never goes away. And through embodiment of that, we start to see the results around us.
Beautiful. I appreciate that. And I believe you have a gift for us revolving around embodied wealth.
Yeah, so I have a little taster of it. I've created a little meditation practice that you can do. You can follow along with my guidance, and you get to have the direct experience, the direct taste of that.
I love it. Okay, great. So if you are interested in taking a look at this meditation, the embodied wealth meditation, go ahead and take a look at the link in the show notes, purchase that meditation, and really support you on getting you started on those next steps of really embodying the wealth within yourself. So as we start to wrap up here, Sofia, I would love for you to share, what is one last little tidbit or unique piece of advice or wisdom that you can share with our audience here that will help them continue to evolve in their business as a business leader with more grace and ease?
Mm. Well, I feel like it's been really rich what we've covered. So there's a lot of wisdom here, a lot of gold right here. And yeah, the main thing of it all is that there's no one to become, there's nothing to change, there's nothing to improve. The whole journey is about remembering the incredible beauty that we all already are. And that happens by putting ourselves in the center of it all, by prioritizing our values above everything, by holding the standards that we set for ourselves. And then you just get to see this magic and miracles happen in your life because you've chosen it.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today. And everybody here listening, thank you for joining us on another episode of Creating Powerful Impact. Make sure you take a look at the show notes for a way to connect with Sofia. I know she's got a number of great events and things happening, so take a look at what she's got going on. And I'm excited for you to start taking the lessons and the resources that you learned here today, implement them, create even more impact in your world. So until next time, have an amazing and outstanding rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening to the Creating Powerful Impact podcast. If you are a successful coach, speaker, author, or thought leader who would like to be on this program, simply visit creatingpowerfulimpact.com/guest. If you are someone who got something out of this interview, would you please do me a favor and share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on your socials. Also, if you know somebody that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Creating Powerful Impact. I love seeing all of your posts and great guest selections. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up ratings and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they really mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more about us? Head on over to our website, graceandeaseproductions.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. Just look for Grace and Ease Productions on your favorite platform. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.